other side.
Hey everyone, I'm Mir Thompson, and this is the story of how my own family tried to burn me out of existence literally and how I rose from the ashes to take everything back at 25. I thought I'd escaped the cruelty of my cousin Charlotte and her mother, my Aunt Sophia. But one weekend, a single act of violence changed everything, forcing me to face a truth I'd buried for years. Some people will destroy you to feel whole. This isn't just about betrayal, it's about revenge, redemption, and a dream I turned into a legacy. Grab a coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into a story that proves scars can bloom into something unstoppable. I grew up in a trailer park on the outskirts of Eugene, Oregon, raised by my grandmother, Ruth. After my parents died in a car crash when I was 6, our home was a patchwork of peeling paint and secondhand furniture. But Ruth made it warm with her laughter and late-night stories. My escape was sketching dresses, jackets, scarves, designs that felt like armor against a world that saw me as less. My cousin Charlotte Reed, daughter of my Aunt Sophia, lived in a McMansion across town. Her life a parade of designer bags and private school parties. Charlotte was everything I wasn't: blonde, confident, and cruel. At 13, during a family barbecue, she poured a mug of boiling water from a kettle onto my hand, laughing as I screamed. The burn left a scar shaped like a jagged flower on my wrist, a mark I'd carry forever. Sophia saw it happen but smirked. You shouldn't have provoked her. Mir, learn your place. The neighbors heard my cries, but Sophia spun a story about me overreacting, and they believed her. That scar became my silent rebellion, a reminder I'd never be safe in their world. Charlotte was the town's darling cheerleader, Instagram star, always draped in the latest trends. I was the trailer park kid, mocked for my thrift store clothes and quiet demeanor. Every family gathering was a stage for her cruelty. She'd accidentally break my sketchbooks, spill soda on my homework, or whisper lies that I'd stolen her jewelry. Knowing Sophia would back her up. Me is just jealous, Sophia would say, sipping Chardonnay, while my uncle, Greg, stayed silent, his eyes glued to his phone. My grandmother tried to shield me, but her health was failing. And by 15, I was fending for myself. My only refuge was my high school art teacher, Clara Evans, a 70-year-old powerhouse with silver hair and a voice like a storm. Clara had fought her way through a male-dominated design world, her office lined with awards and sketches from her own fashion line. Decades ago, she saw my drawings and said, Mir, your talent is a fire. Don't let anyone snuff it out. Protect and copyright your work. Document everything. I thought she was dramatic, but her words planted a seed. By 18, I'd saved enough from babysitting and diner shifts to move to Portland, enrolling in community college for fashion design. I poured my pain into a clothing line called Starbloom, inspired by my scarf-flowing dresses with floral embroidery, jackets with hidden strength, pieces that celebrated resilience. Following Clara's advice, I copyrighted every Starbloom design under my name, filing them quietly at the county clerk's office. It felt like a formality, but Clara's warning echoed. Corporations and families, they'll steal your soul if you don't guard it. I didn't know how right she was. At 25, I was carving out a small life in Portland, working as a barista by day and designing Starbloom by night. My sketches had caught the eye of a local boutique, and I was preparing to launch a small collection, but I needed my birth certificate for a loan application, locked in a safe at Sophia's house. I hadn't been back in years, not since Charlotte smashed my favorite sketchbook, and Sophia called me a leech who'd never amount to anything. With no choice, I drove to Eugene for one weekend. My stomach knotted with dread. I packed, lied a backpack, a burner phone, and a promise to myself to stay invisible. The first day was tense, but quiet. I kept my head down, thanking Sophia through gritted teeth for letting me stay. Charlotte was home, too, fresh off a brand deal with a fast fashion company. Her Instagram boasting 50,000 followers. She ignored me, her eyes cold as she scrolled her phone. But on the second night, everything exploded. I was in the living room, sketching a new Starbloom dress by the fireplace, when Charlotte stormed in, reeking of champagne and something sharper. "Still doodling your little Rex," she slurred, her voice dripping with venom. "You'll never be me, Mir. You're nothing." I stood to leave, my pencil trembling in my hand. "I don't want to be you," I said quietly. That was the spark. Her face twisted. "You think you belong here?" She lunged, shoving me toward the fireplace. My shoulder hit the burning embers, the heat searing through my jacket. I screamed, collapsing as the smell of burnt fabric and skin filled the air. Charlotte stood over me, laughing. "That's what wannabes get." Sophia appeared in the doorway, her silk robe pristine, her face bored. "You're always causing trouble. Mir, clean up your mess and get out." The pain was excruciating. My shoulder blistered and raw, but their words burned deeper. I didn't cry. I stood, my vision blurry but my resolve like iron. "I'm leaving," I said, my voice steady. "But this isn't over. You'll both regret this." Sophia scoffed. You're nobody." Charlotte smirked, tossing her hair. I grabbed my backpack and walked out, the cold Oregon air stinging my wound, but a fire growing inside me. I didn't go to my savings were too thin. Instead, I drove to Lena's apartment in Portland. Lena, a freelance photographer who'd known me since high school, gasped at my shoulder. "Mir, this is abuse. We're not letting them get away with this." Lena had seen Charlotte's cruelty firsthand once, in 10th grade. Charlotte had accidentally tripped me down a staircase, laughing as I limped away. Over instant coffee in Lena's cluttered kitchen, we began to plan. I showed her my scars, my old sketchbooks with torn pages, and a folder of evidence I'd kept since Clara's advice. Texts from Charlotte bragging about teaching Mia a lesson, photos of bruises from past attacks, and a voicemail from Sophia saying, "Mia's just a burden who bruises too easily." Lena's eyes widened. "This is a gold mine. Mir, they're done." The next morning, I found a bombshell. Scrolling Charlotte's Instagram, I saw her latest post, a dress from her brand, Luxabloom, that was a carbon copy of my Starbloom design, a floral embroidered gown I'd copyrighted 2 years ago. She'd stolen my work, rebranded it, and was selling it to boutiques across the West Coast. My blood boiled, but Clara's voice rang in my head. "Your copyright is your shield," I called her, my voice shaking. "Charlotte stole my designs, Clara, and she burned me." Sophia just watched. Clara's laugh was sharp, like she'd been waiting for this moment. "They've handed you a guillotine. Mir, use it. Call Rachel New Yen. She's an IP lawyer who eats thieves for breakfast." Rachel, a 35-year-old attorney with a reputation for dismantling corporate fraud, listened to my story over a crackling phone line. "Send me everything," she said, her voice calm but deadly. "The copyright, the abuse evidence, all of it. They're about to learn what happens when you steal from the wrong person." I emailed her the folder photos of my scars, Charlotte's texts, Sophia's voicemail, and my Starbloom copyright documents. Rachel called back an hour later. "Mir, Charlotte's brand is built on your designs, and Sophia's been skimming money from the town's charity fund to fund it. We've got them." Lena and I dug deeper, finding a group chat from 3 years ago where Sophia bragged about persuading a local official to overlook her charity fund discrepancies. It was leverage. Rachel devised a plan, hit Charlotte's career first, then Sophia's reputation. I posed as Elise Carter, a boutique owner from Seattle, contacting Charlotte's biggest investor, a venture capitalist named Derek Holt. Using a burner phone and Lena's apartment as my address, I requested a meeting. Praising Charlotte's innovative designs, she took the bait, agreeing to meet at a trendy Portland cafe. I walked in wearing a wig, glasses, and a tailored blazer. Lena let me. Charlotte didn't recognize me, her blonde ponytail swinging as she boasted about Luxabloom's success. I slid an envelope across the table. "A gift for our partnership," I said. She opened it, her smile fading as she saw my copyright documents, photos of my burns, And a USB with her gloating videos. You stole my designs, I said, removing my glasses. And you burned me. Charlotte, this ends now. Her face went white. You can't prove anything, she hissed, lunging across the table. Lena, filming from a corner, caught every second. Derek, seated nearby, stood and left without a word. By nightfall, he'd pulled his $500,000 investment, and Luxabloom's retail partners dropped her, citing intellectual property concerns. Charlotte wasn't the only target. Sophia's pride was her annual charity gala, a glitzy event in Eugene's community center where she played the role of saintly philanthropist. Lena and I bought tickets, slipping into Starbloom dresses I'd sewn myself, as Sophia took the stage, her diamond earrings glinting under the lights. I handed the organizer a USB, saying it was a tribute to community truth. The screen behind her lit up with my story. Photos of my wrist scar, my burned shoulder, Charlotte's texts mocking me, and Sophia's voicemail calling me a burden. A final slide showed Sophia's group chat, admitting to stealing charity funds. The crowd gasped, funds filming, as Sophia's smile cracked. She stammered, "This is a misunderstanding." I stepped forward, my voice clear. "No, Sophia, this is what happens when you call a survivor nothing." She fled the stage, the room buzzing with whispers. By morning, the gala's sponsors pulled out. The charity board suspended Sophia, and local news ran headlines, "Eugene philanthropist embroiled in scandal." Charlotte tried to salvage her image with a tearful Instagram live, claiming I was mentally unstable and jealous. It backfired. Lena leaked our evidence to a local blogger, and the internet erupted. Hashtags like #JusticeForMia trended, and Charlotte's followers plummeted. Brands cut ties, and her landlord, my old friend Tara from high school, evicted her, citing unpaid rent after seeing the evidence. Sophia and Charlotte tried to sue me for defamation, but Rachel was ready. In a Portland courtroom, I presented my folder, hospital bills I'd paid in cash, Charlotte's threatening texts, "Keep quiet or I'll make it worse," and Sophia's financial records. The judge dismissed the case, calling it a baseless attempt to silence a victim. Sophia's face was ashen. Charlotte sobbed, her oversized sunglasses slipping. While they crumpled, I built. I'd been volunteering with a Portland nonprofit for abuse survivors, and with Rachel's help, I launched Starbloom Sanctuary, a program using fashion and art therapy to empower victims of family abuse. I funded it with a settlement from Charlotte's brand, forced to pay $200,000 for copyright infringement. My first collection, Starbloom's Resilience line, sold out in a week, with boutiques clamoring for more. I kept my story anonymous at first, but a local news interview changed that. It started with a scar, I told the reporter, but the real fire was inside me. The clip went viral, not for drama, but for truth. Thousands emailed me, women who'd survived, sisters, mothers, cousins like mine. One wrote, "You gave me courage to speak. That was my legacy." Charlotte and Sophia faded. Charlotte moved back to Sophia's house, her brand bankrupt, her influencer status a memory. Sophia lost her charity board seat and her job at a local real estate firm. Neighbors whispered, the church shunned her. I heard through Tara that they were selling Sophia's house to pay legal fees. I didn't gloat. I was done with their poison. Now, at 26, I live in Seattle, in a loft with a view of Puget Sound. I drive a 1970 VW Beetle. Cherry red, a gift to myself. Starbloom Sanctuary is growing, mentoring teens with their own scars through design workshops. Claire visited last month, her eyes sparkling as we toasted with cheap wine. "You're a phoenix, Mir," she said. "Born from ashes." My grandmother's photo sits on my desk, her smile my anchor. Charlotte called once, her voice broken. "I lost everything," she said. "No," I replied. "You lost me." I hung up. I'm not angry anymore, I'm free. If this story moved you, smash that like button and subscribe. Share your story in the comments. Let's build a community of survivors together. We're fireproof. See you at the finish line.